What's going on, world? And welcome back to the Pursuit of the Good Life podcast, your favorite podcast that helps you grow both personally and professionally. I'm your host with the most, your favorite coach, the Cameron Lovelace, helping you create your version of the good life every single Thursday. And y'all know how we do. We bring on phenomenal guests who have created their version of the good life, still creating their version of the good life, or, we're all just, I love having on great guests with spectacular stories and stuff like this. And this week is no different. Today's guest has a real passion for millennials and really helping them explore that like me, but explore that career space, like finding their passions and also having a satisfying career, not just a career that's just gonna get you a good paycheck, if you know what I'm saying. But she's a soror. She's the line sister of a previous guest. So if you haven't watched, I believe it was 62 with Boots and Crowns with Kiva. This is a line sister, so we had to keep it in the fam. But make sure you go check those out. But please welcome to the show, Miss Ashley Dortch. Ashley, what's going on?
Not a lot. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for reaching out because everybody needs a good life,
That's true,
and we deserve it.
man. That's true. Thanks for accepting. I think it's rare to find people that are our age that are passionate about personal development. Like I think everybody, wants to get the bag. Everybody wants to get money. Everybody wants to, get married. Everybody wants to do all these things, but not everybody wants to look in the mirror and do the hard work and start working on themselves. So I definitely when I first started following you, I was like, okay, somebody else that gets it. So I was like, yeah, like I definitely got to have her on, especially when Kiva recommended you. But tell the people a little bit about yourself and what makes you you.
Man, listen, I am Ashley Dortch, the owner of Millennial Consultant, but I'm also a shameless millennial. To tell you a little bit about me, I've always grown up in a multi generational household, which means I deal with old people, young people on an everyday basis. I'm a social worker by trade, so therapy is really where my heart resides.
Mm-hmm.
And always been a person who's had like a whole bunch of jobs to hustle. Like I've always worked in retail or customer service, as well as trying to have a real 9 to 5 job. But I realized that's not what I wanted to do. So I had to find a way to marry the two.
Mm-hmm.
And working in corporate America and Nike, I noticed I was having the same issues that I was having in my nonprofit at U Villages.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized everybody hates millennials. And that's like really what it is. I should put that on a shirt, or we should have like a side show, like everybody hates millennials. But that's really what it is. In the same workplace, we don't know how to get along. We have the same work goal. However, we don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to bounce our ideas appropriately, or it's just a lot of chaos. So I was like, this is stupid. Like, why we just can't all get along? Especially when you have a millennial who's the manager over a baby boomer or someone else. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me nothing. I mean, I can't tell you nothing, but I mean, I can tell you something because I'm your boss. So it just hit me like somebody got to be around to show people how to work together. And I realized that was me.
Hmm.
And then Millennial Consultant was born. Like, I'm here to help everyone to create a work life balance, not just millennials, but everyone in the workplace. Because you think about it, my mom, she's 60 something, but other people who are in their 60s and 70s, they really can't afford to retire. So, of course, they're going to be in the workplace with us. So, if you don't have a happy life at home, you're going to come to work and make your coworkers like miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And if work isn't good, you're going to come home and take that same anger and emotions out on whoever's in the home with you, whether it's your kid, your mama, your daddy, or your dog. So, That's my whole goal.
I feel you. So, do you work with just millennials, or is that just that's where your heart is right now?
So let me tell you, I started off only wanting to do individual coaching
Mm-hmm.
with personal and professional development. And somehow I wasn't getting individual clients. I was getting speaking engagements like, hey, can you come and host this workshop? Or, hey, could you come and do this, this, and that? And I'm like, I just want to work with people one on one, but because that's what I was so used to. Like, I've been doing therapy, like, it's easy to do one on one. So, when I started accepting these jobs, of course, they were like, can you just send me what your fees are going to be? And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I learned early on, never tell anyone you don't know how to do something
Oh no,
because you know how to do it.
definitely not.
Because I'm gonna Google it really quick because I'm a millennial. I'm about to use these skills that I have,
Hmm?
and yeah, okay, I'll send it. And then I just started mastering workshops, which is what I love to do. And eventually, I started having like a support group for millennials, which is called the Millennial Meetup, and we meet typically every fourth Thursday
Mm-hmm.
during the month. It was face to face until dear COVID came. And it's just a place to where millennials can come and have a safe place and vent about whatever is going on. We have interesting topics and we have like different announcements for other millennials to come and bounce ideas and network across the table.
I love it. Love it. So, therapy, huh? So,
Hmm.
I always got to ask somebody who is also in the mental health space. So, what led you to the social work path specifically?
So I'm a proud graduate of Lamar College in Memphis, only HBCU in the city. Hey, um, and when I was there, I wanted to be a biology major, and I was only a biology major for 2 years
Oh,
because
okay.
they had a stipend program, and so we know STEM programs are really big,
Hmm.
especially for African Americans, and they were giving out stipends, and they was giving out some really, really, really good stipends,
Go on,
and I was
drop
like,
the number, drop the number. How much they was paying you to be a biology major?
listen, well, so this sounds small, but in college this was
To a
big,
broke college?
but they were giving.
Come on now.
Look, I really feel like we had more money in college than in real life right now. But I think our stipend checks would be like 2,700 per semester.
Mm.
That didn't even include like the regular refund check. Plus, they took us out of town every semester. So why not? And in the summertime, we got money then too, and along with per diem. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be a biology major. I'm gonna go to school and be a veterinarian because I love animals. Like I just love them, all kinds except for rats and pigeons. Those are the only exclusions.
So you was gonna be a vet?
Uh, I was gonna be a vet. Like I was gonna take care of your dog. Do you have a
I
dog?
do have a dog.
What kind of dog you got?
She's a mutt. She's a mutt. She is a So here, so here's the thing.
Okay.
The I got this from a high school friend back in my hometown.
Mhm.
He said that the mom was a German Shepherd and a Husky. I don't see no kind of Husky in her. There was I don't know. She's German Shepherd and something else, and the dad was a boxer pit. So there's a lot going on in
Okay.
in this dog.
That's She sounds lovely. Okay. I was gonna take care of her. That's what I was gonna do. Is your vet.
Uh,
But Karen, let me tell you something. I don't do well with bodily fluids. Tears, saliva, anything that comes from the body. I don't do well with it and I freak out. So being a vet wasn't going to work for me. So I took some other classes and I was like, behavior science, it sounds good. And then I want to say junior year or like whatever that odd semester is where you have like a whole bunch of credits, but you're like a sophomore, middle towards junior.
mm,
Um, I had a death in the family. One of my cousins, she had a baby and her baby passed away from sudden infant death syndrome.
mm,
And I got really bothered by that. And me and his cousin, we're not even close. Like, it's like I see you every family reunion. But it just bothered me. And I started doing research on it. And I learned that sudden infant death syndrome, which is short for SIDS, it's very prevalent in the African American community because of lack of education. It is very standard for our families to do different things like have the baby sleep in the bed with us, um,
True.
sleeping on their face, and just different things like that. And I was like, because I wanted to question, like, why did her baby die? Like, sudden infant death, that didn't make any sense to me. So at that moment, I realized I could do more. Like, I couldn't help my cousin, but I can help someone who is just like my cousin, who's uneducated or needs to be able to know more so that their baby would live. And from there on, I enrolled into social work because it just fit me. Like, I loved everything about it. I would do different activities to help increase the awareness of HIV awareness at the school, diabetes, high blood pressure, and um, infant mortality. So that's what my focus was in undergrad. And that's how I landed social work. And then after that, I went to Jackson State and got my master's in social work. And
HBCU,
it's just,
HBCU, huh?
I know. So my PhD is going to be from somewhere else. You know that, right?
You going back for the doctorate? For
Yeah.
glutton for punishment. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Let me tell you something. Yes, you can. I promise you, you
But
can.
you're right. I
You
can't.
can do
You're
it,
right. You're absolutely right.
but you don't want
But
to.
I
You don't
no,
want to.
absolutely not.
Listen, this is a judge-free podcast, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going somewhere who's gonna pay me to come
Listen,
to them.
listen. I
Okay.
had I had a talk with God. Got me in. I told him. I said, look, if you want me to get a PhD, I'm gonna need one for you to pay for it, and I'm gonna need you to come down. Like I need you to open up the. I need you to open up heaven and say very clearly, get this PhD.
You want him to write you a
I
letter?
no. I need audible. I need the Cameron. Go get your PhD, or else I'm not.
You know what?
Because
I understand it.
I
And I want to get my PhD for all the wrong reasons.
see you want to be called Dr. Dortch, don't you?
Don't that sound good?
See, that's what everybody say. Nuh-uh, no.
No,
That's
no, listen, wait. No, in true honesty,
I'm listening.
I just did my taxes a couple weeks ago. And it took me about 3 hours to do my taxes. You know, as a business owner and as a millennial,
Right.
we don't get that much. Like the government should really look out for us. If I ain't got no kids,
Oh no.
I ain't no homeowner.
Oh no.
What is
Y'all
there for
yeah, y'all
me?
get the short end of the stick.
That's not fair. Like it needs to be more incentives for people like me. Anywho, I was like, I asked my tax lady, I said, hey, if I was in school, would I still be having these problems, you know? And then I want to buy a house. But when you buy a house, they want to know what your student loans payments look like. But if I was in school, you wouldn't have to know. See, I need to be in school for other reasons. So,
Okay. I kind of feel you on that, but it see now. PhD is academic hazing. I just saw somebody talk about that on my Facebook that anyway. We can talk about that offline. Um but so you chose to go the social work route, and so I'm not gonna lie to you. So I went the clinical mental health therapy route, and
mm-hmm,
we like we're trained in all things therapy, and so what my understanding is social workers, y'all take a couple classes in therapy, and then everything else is like you're like what you did in the community, like your HIV, you have the ability
mm-hmm.
to work in a school if you want to, or work in a hospital, or where you can work in multiple places. So what made you want to double down and explore therapy specifically with your social work?
You want the real answer. You don't want the CNN answer.
Give me the real answer.
I'm
Give the
a.
people what they want.
It's so easy.
Not it's easy.
Like it is. I'm one of those people. If I could really be more of like the you come in and you just talk and I just say, yeah, okay, that would be super ideal. But we're in the South. We can't really do that. You can do that up north. They've been doing therapy for forever. And I'm a really big proponent in mental health for Black people. So we hadn't made it to that level yet to, yeah. But I'm a talker. I was the person in school. The teacher moved because I was talking so much, so she would move me by the quiet kids, and then by the end of class, the quiet kids would be the ones talking. So it comes so natural to me. It doesn't feel like work. The only part that feels like work is the documentation of it.
Oh,
Um,
terrible.
when you have to do that at a facility or something, but I just it just comes so natural. Like I in my free time I research other ways to do assessments because in your field they teach you all how to do those different assessments like the person chair chairperson assessment or whatever it's called. It's like we don't get as trained as we should, at least not in my program. So you've got a upper hand.
Uh, we do, but that again, that's because we get nothing but therapy. You guys can go
Yeah,
into hospitals, you guys can go into schools and
yeah.
work with people and not worry about being uh empathetic and all the types of things. You guys just have to worry about mostly, paperwork and stuff like that. But
That is true. And it is more of a holistic thing I thoroughly enjoy. I like not having to focus on one part and like multiple aspects of something, whatever is affecting that person.
mhm,
And I try to carry it over into my business, which is why I do personal and professional because you can't have one without the other.
right.
When I first started this business, I looked up people who were doing what I was doing. I was just like, yeah, but I needed to bring something else to the table, and this is it because you can't you can't have as you know your life and what you want in your careers. Got to give them both the best of both worlds.
Right, right. So tell me what it's like balancing that with social work and millennial consultants. So what's that work balance like with that? Because and here's why I asked specifically. Because in the mental health field, they tell us, well, they told us specifically, make sure you have something outside of like working with clients because that can be very emotionally draining and eventually you lead it to burnout and stuff like that. And so you're doing that and you're also doing millennial consulting. That's a lot of work, but do you look at it as like a
Mhm.
as a trade-off?
Okay, I'm a busybody.
Mhm.
So to keep me from getting drained, so let's take it back a step. Take it a step back. I was doing a lot of trauma work and trauma therapy for clients.
Ashley.
So wait, what happened to you? What did you do?
Ashley, you said trauma work. That's about the toughest. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
so I told you I actually enjoy working,
Mhm.
but sometimes I don't enjoy the jobs that I have. So when I worked at Nike, I would go to youth villages from like 7 to 3:30. That wasn't my shift, but I had to make it work because I didn't want to be at work all day.
Mhm.
So Nike was the fun job. I would drive, bam, I go play with shoes all day or go out in the community and promote the brand in the community.
Mhm.
But that was fun for me, but I was still getting paid. And then when Millennial Consultant was born, I had youth villages, Nike, and Millennial Consultant. I was also trying to move up because people always say we need leadership experience or whatever, but
So hold on.
you don't have to.
As a frame of reference, were you done with school at this point, or were you still in school?
Oh, I was done. I was done. I finished school in 2016
Mm-hmm.
from Jackson State, and then I was interviewing while I was in school. So my first day at work was the Monday after graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was starting orientation, and since then I've been like bouncing off of people's time clocks. So finding my balance, it's tough. Like I know when it's time to take a break.
Right.
Like I depend on my accountability partners, and I make sure that I have free time and me time. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Me time is just you. Free time is I don't have anything scheduled. So I make time to not have nothing scheduled because stuff always come up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you working all the time, and our family and our friends, they learn our schedule. They know you're not working Tuesdays after 5. So let me schedule something for me and Ashley to do. It's like, how you gonna schedule time for me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna have some free time just in case. But the me time has to be for me. And I did say I was a shameless millennial earlier, but I'm also like a millennial who has a whole bunch of old fashioned
Old
ways.
soul.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're saying, but I love gardening and that keeps me sane.
You know what's funny?
Like,
I think that that's a new wave in the millennial, because I'm seeing a lot of millennials pick up like personal planting lately, like whether it's at their house or inside of like they're
hmm,
potting the house. Like if they don't have a dog, like if
yeah.
they don't have a dog or a cat, they probably have a plant.
It's a lot of millennial plant moms and dads. You're right.
Seeing that evolve.
But it's so relaxing. Like my superpower as a social worker, I can create a life analogy out of anything. And when I'm in the garden,
Yeah, yeah.
oh boy, oh man, I'm out here coming up with life acknowledging moments all the time. I'm
Mhm.
like, man, I need to write a book, which is why I need to go get my PhD so I can have
Stop.
authored by a doctor.
Book without a
Okay.
PhD. Do not get me. Don't get me started. This
But
disclaimer:
I
if
have
you are
my
in a PhD program, first of all, I'm gonna pray for you. Second of all, I'm not downing you in your process. If you feel like you need it to be doctor or whatever, go for it. But for me in my house, there no, and there will not be Dr. Lovelace unless my wife goes and gets her.
oh, I hope she gone and go do it.
That's fine. I
That's
I
that's 4 years
I've
though. three
I
years.
have learned. So here's what I've learned as far as the PhD. Because at first I wasn't gonna go, and I don't think I've ever said this like publicly or whatever. But what I said was I'm not gonna get it. Then I started dating my wife, who said she wanted to be a MD, a medical doctor. So then I was like, okay, I can't have my this is me talking, my measly master's degree, and she have a whole MD. But then I checked myself because I'm like, Cameron, that's your ego talking. And it is. So I said, you know what? Fine. That's cool. And now she don't even want to be a medical doctor no more. So
What?
so we good. We good over here.
You know what? But in our like, okay, this is another thing. This is another reason why I haven't enrolled as a social worker. I'm working on my clinical license as well.
Uh-huh.
Once I get that, I don't need a
You
PhD.
don't.
Like
Unless
long
unless unless
term.
you want to teach or do research. And I don't want
And I thought about that
I
too.
don't want to do either. So that's why I don't.
Now, I do see myself teaching because
Mm-hmm.
I don't see myself on someone's payroll after 45.
Yeah.
So that's another backup plan that I got um, on my personal development plan. But that's the only reason. Like it's yeah.
I go for it.
I could be a teacher.
I feel you, but I think I interrupted you. I don't know where we was talking about. I think it was
We was talking about balance
yes, balance. How you balancing
in
millennial and
the garden.
garden.
And I take breaks, and this is my biggest hurdle, honestly. In these last few years was accepting help.
Mm-hmm.
So I I have a pride issue. So when you first start a business and then you make that first post on social media, and everyone's like, if you need any help, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. I just said okay. I said okay for like a year and a half. And I was like, I need to be using these resources because, for one, when you're trying to run a business, it's costly. But if I have some resources who can help cut costs,
Mm-hmm.
I need to be using those. To have workshops and to rent buildings, I need to reach out to a soror or a mentor or somebody like that because I can't do it on my own. And that was my issue. I thought I can do it on my own. I wasn't dependent on my friends or professional associates to help me. And in the past, since COVID, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I have been accepting help. I've even reached back to the people who said, if you need anything, let me know. I said, hey, remember that time you told me blah, blah, blah? Well, I do need this, or I would need assistance doing that. So that's been a stress off of my shoulders, just accepting help and admitting that I need it.
Mm. So I do see that thing with a lot of people like who are running like their own business. Um, they get to that point to where they think that nobody can do it's because their business is their baby, and nobody can care for my baby like me. Fair enough. But
Hmm.
you get if you're too busy taking care of the baby, who's going out and making the money?
Right.
Takes two parents to really raise to I won't say fully raise, but to bring the best out of the child. You do need both the mom and the dad. So
Hmm.
I do feel you on that. And so when you said asking for help, I'm not gonna lie. The first thing that popped in my head was control freak. Are you a control freak?
Uh, no, I like things to go a certain way. That's all.
It's okay.
I, you know,
This is a judge-free zone, Ashley.
I
Just
not like control.
uh-huh.
You know, what's a synonym for control? Yeah, maybe a little bit, just
It's okay.
a little bit,
It's okay
just
to
a
be
little
a
bit.
control freak. My wife can be a control freak sometimes. Like she likes like you, she likes things a certain way sometimes.
It's hard to deviate.
It's okay. Cuz you want things to be
I talked to my therapist about that.
Ooh, you have a therapist? I
Now listen, now I can't. Look, you see my shirt, sis. You need therapy.
yeah.
We all need therapy. We got some unresolved issues we need to take care of. And I tell people, you need a therapist just like you have a barber, just like you have a pastor, just like you have a hairstylist or a favorite nail tech. That's the same way you need to budget in your therapy
Mhm.
because it's really more important. But I'm just saying it's just as important for people who haven't even started because it's like gossiping with someone who you know ain't gonna gossip about what you're saying. Like that's the best part about therapy. Spilling tea in therapy. Ugh, why not?
You look like
You can trust me.
you look like you love to hear some tea.
I do. I be like, girl, tell me what happened. And they gonna just, get it out there.
You'd be like,
Because they need to.
"What?" But then you got to bring it back full circle. It's like, okay, so
I do have to bring it back.
and it's like, how did that make you feel? Like, what did we learn from that? I
Yes.
I get it. I low key like some tea too, but I gotta make I can't let them know I enjoy the tea. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. But I have a question for you. If you're listening to this podcast and you're hearing the gems being dropped, you're hearing the stories, and you're being inspired, and you say, you know what, I'm ready to create my version of the good life. If that's the case, then I highly recommend that we start working together. And so I want to invite you, for being a listener of the podcast, to a free strategy call with yours truly. And in that strategy call, what we're going to do is to help you really identify what it is that you're trying to do in your personal and your professional life. Help you identify the problems that you have to overcome to make that happen. And then we're going to put together a strategy so that you can go out and create that version of the good life. All right. So if you're really interested, if you're serious and you're interested in creating that version of the good life and taking those steps, what I want you to do is to visit www.cameronlovelace.com/strategy and sign up for your personal Zoom call today. All right. Enjoy the rest of the episode. So
It depends on like how long, like the rapport. Like it really be men who like to spill tea too. I'm gonna just put that out there
how many
too.
male clients do you have? Because like men don't like to go to therapy. Well, men usually don't like to go to therapy. I definitely
They
more
don't.
female than male.
I actually have. I'm gonna say 60% women, 40% men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but men need it as well because just like how people be like, women have daddy issues, men have mama issues and daddy issues to get over, and they'll come into therapy for one thing, and then bam, let's talk about how your uncle raised you, and you saw your daddy every day, but your daddy didn't come in to be a daddy. He was just your daddy's friend, your uncle's friend. Stuff like that. It's like just breaking down those things and peeling back the layers of that onion. So I love getting down to like the nitty gritty with my man.
Factual.
I really feel like men are easier clients.
Uh it just depends.
Yeah,
It depends on what they're coming in for. Because if it's like
true.
if it's have you had your couple yet? Have you had a couple yet?
No, I actually prefer not to have couples because
Many people do.
I'm
You're not the only.
not. Look, I'm not ready for that. I'm not mature enough. Like I can. Like if it was my job to do it, I would do it. However, I know me, and internally, I will be siding with the wife or the girlfriend.
That's good that you know yourself. That's good that you know.
Hmm.
But I think it's great that you have a therapist and that you are a therapist. Matter of fact, I kind of question if you don't have somebody or something that you are pouring into and you're pouring into people, or some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because
Yeah,
you're if
yeah.
you're a therapist, or if you're a coach, or if you're a pastor, or if you're anything that has to do with the development, shepherding of people, like,
Hmm.
you gotta have something or somebody that is doing that for you. Cause
Absolutely, because you'll have that vicarious trauma. You'll take whatever your client has laid on you home. Even and think about like how you're seeing someone for therapy and you have your main job, but your private practice or whatever else you're doing after hours, you don't have a good gap to decompress. Before COVID, I would inform my clients, hey, if you're having a rough day at work, take a different route home. But when you're working from home in certain situations, you don't really have a good cutoff or a really good transition time to separate one from the other. And when you are in a position to where you are coaching or shepherding or doing anything else where you have to tap into other people's feelings, you have to move it somewhere else. Like you can't keep it with you. That could become life threatening.
right,
So we need a therapist.
absolutely. But let's pivot away from social work. I want to know more about millennial consulting. So tell me a little bit about like the workshops that you have done over the years. When
So
did this
we have
when did millennial start?
in 2018.
2018. Okay.
That's what I never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. Anyway, nope, I'm gonna say it because I need to vent, and you're a mental health
Oh,
professional as well.
where?
When I when I say that, when I was applying for PPP loans, I was, boasting, yes, I had this before COVID, for me not to get approved for any, I feel some type of way.
Mm.
Um, Thanks for letting me share that. So services that Millennial Consultant provides. Our workshops, we have we focus on goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
We typically have one in the beginning of the year and a mid-year check-in, and we've also had Bad Habit Academy where people come to learn to break their bad habits because
What bad habits are we breaking at the Bad Habit Academy?
now people have come and exposed a lot of different bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not targeting one specifically, but we're giving them the tools to learn how to break one of their choice. So we're going to focus on three during the workshop, and then we're going to come up with a plan on how to do it, and it's on you to do it, and then me as your accountability partner to check in with you. But bad habits can be as small as sleeping with your iPhone and rolling over in the middle of the night and checking your phone, which breaks your sleep. Or it could be as big as continuously getting yourself into negative, unproductive relationships
Get
with spouses. So,
let's give me something juicy, Ashley. How many of these young millennial men and women have been transparent and talked about their situationships?
ooh, we talked about situationships in a millennial meetup. But I'm going to say a lot.
Mm.
So we were raised as 90s babies and 80s babies.
Mm-hmm.
What we saw growing up, what we thought was typical love or what a relationship looked like, that's like in the back of our brain somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like the toxic, the Jody love is what I call it,
Mm.
that's okay. It's not okay. Okay. All those movies, the bang bang, shoot him up, he took your car, the guy came from jail, and he had a woman here and a woman there, and you took him back just because he said, I love you, and you were intimate one good time. That's not okay. Matter of fact, it's pretty dangerous, more dangerous now because let's not talk about STDs and
Mm-hmm.
all the other things that could come along with it. But we it's a growing population. I have people who are realizing that they've never seen a healthy relationship.
Mm.
Like growing up, like even if you had a mom and a dad in a household, that didn't mean it was healthy. It's just what society said we were supposed to have. But if you saw your dad hitting on your mom, or you saw your dad gambling, or you saw your mom being harder on your sister than she was you,
Mm.
because there's another parental role on how women treat their daughters versus their sons in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that rolls over because we typically parent how we were parented. um, I'm gonna try to tap back into when I was telling about my therapist and why everyone needs therapy. You never know what happened to you as a child can affect you in any kind of relationship, whether it's personal or professional. There was a season in my life where I had an issue with male authority, um, period. And in the mental health field, you don't typically have to deal with male authority because there's not a lot of men in mental health. So when I was faced with a man in the mental health field, it was like, you really can't tell me nothing. I was like, defensive all the time. And as I was going through therapy, I had to work through my dad issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't happen in one or two sessions.
And,
Really like every a session every 2 weeks type of thing.
mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized I had an issue with my dad. But as I talked to my dad didn't have a dad. So he thought, like, or this is how I perceived it to be, because reality is really how you see it, not what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I perceived it as, oh, he just paid child support. So he thought he was being a father. Like, no. No, man, you gotta come see me, kick it with me, go to my violin lessons or something like that. Like that's what I thought this should have happened.
Mhm.
But our parents parent how they were parented and him not having a father, he thought he was doing the best that he could.
Mhm.
So or what he was supposed to do.
And so when that comes up in these workshops, what do you do? Do you say, "Hey, here are some great therapists I think you should go to"? How do you handle that?
I teach Look, I will teach my participants because you're not a client
Correct.
yet until we're, one on one. I will teach my participants how to find their own therapist. Or if they're not ready for therapy, look, other situations like this that just help you think from a different perspective, I would invite them to more of those. And also just to let them share and vent while reminding others around that, hey, this is a safe place. What happens in here stays in here. And typically, I'm getting a call afterwards just for a consultation or just for a check in because everyone isn't ready for therapy. Like in our community, therapy is like a curse word,
Unfortunately, that is the case.
which is why I try to approach it differently. Like, even the word counseling, like, I don't know, if we could just come up with some cool word and get like a really good rapper to like put in their song
Mhm.
and then everyone to be down with it, then maybe we'll get more people involved. But it's growing though.
It is growing. I think a lot of that is because of millennials, and so I think because millennials are, I'll say millennials and the generation behind us, the Gen Z, are the most vocal
Hmm.
in terms of social media and social change and all of that type of stuff. And I feel like the millennials are the ones who are kind of making it okay, if not cool, to be in therapy,
Hmm.
to work on your and maybe not even be in therapy full blown, but to work on like growing yourself, self love,
Yeah.
empowering, especially women's empowerment. That came directly from millennials, like women empowerment and all those things. So it's funny like to hear, like I guess I just don't I'm gonna be honest, I just don't really pay attention to the people who are like therapy, and it's like because my response is
Hmm.
always like, look, not here, because here's my philosophy: not everybody needs therapy, but everybody can benefit from therapy. Everybody can
True.
benefit from talking to an objective person who I don't know, who hasn't known me for all the years of my life, who doesn't know my mama, my daddy, but can sit here, listen to what I have to say, help me figure out my issues, and then like not telling anybody else.
Why
Who
not?
who can't?
Like it's a win-win.
Right.
It's a win-win.
Like I'm paying you to help me.
And think about it. People always say it's like easier to talk to strangers. Let me be your stranger that you see
Yeah.
ever so often.
Mhm.
And vent, and you feel better after you leave.
Absolutely. So we got the bad habits workshop. We got the Hold on. What was the first workshop? Was it the professional workshop?
Goal setting,
Goal
goal
setting.
setting.
Goal setting workshop. Bad
Yes,
habits workshop.
yes,
Is there
yes.
any other workshops?
No, those are our two workshops,
And
and I am launching a new service. I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but the whole purpose of Millennial Consultant is to provide a holistic approach. So, yes, I'm working with a professional, but this season I'm now working with families. So, doing family facilitation, like family meetings,
mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be in a situation to where or I don't want my clients to be in a situation to where life is changing or you're transitioning and then your family doesn't have a plan for it. And I use my social workers tools as linking people to different resources. So if your family sucks with money management and every time someone passes away and we need a GoFundMe account, let's bring in my financial account, my
Ashley.
financial accountant so that we can help have a better understand of
Mm-hmm.
financial literacy because we weren't taught that growing up. Or if you're needing a situation to where hey, what are we gonna do when so and so passes away? Who gonna take the kids? Like, we don't like talking about death either. Now, I don't know much about funeral homes and stuff like that, but what I can do is link you to some resources and just help you map out when you're doing estate planning or things like that. Just so that everything's in order if something is to happen. Because with COVID didn't take out just old people. It's taking out everybody, old, young, middle age. We all need a plan. And even a prime example, when you have a family member, how many family members understand if the head of the household or whoever else wants to be resuscitated if they're lost in a medical procedure or something like that? In a season of COVID, that's something we need to revisit because COVID affects the lungs and the respiratory system. So you may need to be on a breathing machine, and there are cases where you may slip away. We need to go back and revisit those plans, especially for family members who may be in the military. They just did it just to sign off on something,
Mm-hmm.
which is why family meetings are important. So
Great. And so is that including or limited to like different things? So like because you talked about like the financial, don't you ain't have to put people on blast like that with the GoFundMe.
I
Get
I did
get
because
life
it's
insurance,
real.
people. If you
And look, I just learned we can get paid from life insurance. It's like that's an investment. I'd say the person's gonna pass away in the next 10 years, but you can grow money off of
oh
that.
yeah, it's definitely a tool for
Um,
generational wealth.
Absolutely. But our services definitely cater to the need. And if I see a new need for the millennials, I'm gonna bring it to our table so that they can have access to that. I also have a large clientele of just helping people express news to their family. Someone may need help with coming out and talking about their sexual orientation. And I'm one of those people who come in and help facilitate that conversation.
Mm.
So
Have you had to do that yet?
that's just one example. Yes.
So tell us.
And it could get physical.
Oof. So
Now, I
tell us a
can't be,
story. Tell us a story.
well, as a therapist, I can't share complete details. I don't want people to be able to figure out who, what, when, where.
Right.
But there has been a situation to where I had to do like the cross guard stop. You know
Mm-hmm.
how hey, because you still gotta respect this person. I can't let you call them all kind of
Mm-hmm.
B words and H words. He just wants you to know that hey, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know what happened after I left. I but I would like to say it was successful because the goal was met.
Right.
Hey, I want to share this with my family. Okay. And a lot of times I'm the listening ear.
Mm-hmm.
Or, social workers and counselors, we always have these weird interventions. And I bring a bell with me. We get a safe word. Hey, if you say chicken fingers, and once you say chicken fingers, we all got to stop. Or if I ring this bell, we all got to be quiet
Mm-hmm.
and focus back. So,
Oof.
I, as you can see, I enjoy family therapy too.
Yeah, kudos to you with that one because in that setting, you are literally like the bridge that connects the two parties together. And so
Yes.
the bridge's job is not to take sides, but to support the conversation and connect the two together as as peacefully as possible.
Peacefully is the key word
Mm-hmm.
because it's really not. Yeah, yeah. I haven't got hit yet, so that's all
Oh,
good.
okay. Well, you good. You know,
Yeah,
working in the places you've worked. Yeah, as good as you ain't got hit yet. I ain't never got hit. So
me neither. Now, if I get hit, maybe a different. You have to come back and interview me. I'm going to tell you how I went. If I still got my license or my insurance or whatever like that.
Memphis,
I don't even know if that's
Memphis, and
carry.
Jackson will come out of you at the same time if you get hit.
I'm gonna be Nicole from South Memphis. So I don't know. It's scary.
Lord.
Probably not.
We'll see.
I just like, okay, let's all settle down. Depending.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, but I'm curious, like what is making you being so passionate about this? Because I know you said you love to listen to people, like you love to do this, but I mean, at some point, it's like sometimes it can get tired. Like what are you doing to keep yourself from burning out from all of that?
When I get tired,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it. Like I don't know if you noticed. I take time away from social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes I set like automatic posts so that people can still know who I am or what I do. But at the end of the day, if I can't handle it, I can't handle it. I was telling one of my friends the other day, she was driving the car, and I was like, "Hey, whose song is that?" She was like, um, "Her." I was like, "She like you hadn't heard?" I was like, "No." I said, "I don't really listen to sad music or like music like that because it's triggering. Like I don't know, I got to be in a crunk mood, like But I can't take it. So I know my triggers. I know my warning signs. If I feel drained, I ain't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't feel like working, hey, I'm not. Cause if I can't give you the best of me, I don't want you to go say, yeah, I went to her and her service was horrible or she had a low mood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm human. Like I can't. Because I don't have a team yet. Now, if I had a team, like some employees or something, it may be different. But when I get drained, okay, I'm taking the time out. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. We're gonna have girls' night. We're gonna drink. What's a good word to say? Appropriately. Is that a word? Reasonably. We're not gonna get sloppy drunk, but I'm gonna have fun. Fun recharges me.
Mm-hmm.
I love going to live bands. I love when the movies was open. I would like going to the movies. I love to travel. I'm one of those people. I was just telling someone, millennials, when we go out of town, we ain't using a lot of sick time, a lot of vacation time. We like to save that for when we quit the job,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, so we can have a full check
I
when we leave.
mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't ever done it before, but
You feel me? Okay. So to travel is pretty easy. To take off a half a day Friday and come back a half a day Monday before they realize that you're gone. So I just take advantage of the opportunities because I don't like being stressed out. Like I've been stressed out before and I hated that feeling. I hated feeling like my career wasn't going anywhere. I hated feeling like what I was doing wasn't enough. Like it was horrible. I was in a season to where when I had just got into leadership at youth villages,
mm-hmm.
and it would take so much energy to go to work. Like when it was like that, when work felt like heavy work, and I had to be there at 8 o'clock or 8:30, I'd be waking up at 6, like giving myself a pep talk.
Mm-hmm.
It had got so heavy. I started a series called Prayer Before Punching In, and I would just post videos of what my prayers was before I would hit the clock. Like, Lord, please get me through the day. Don't let nobody take me out my character. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check in. Like it was rough. And even like I'd be at home all day, and I had quit Nike. I quit Nike for this position.
Mm-hmm.
You from Memphis, right?
No, but I've been in Memphis.
You're not from Memphis.
I'm not. I'm from the humble state of Arkansas, but I've been in Memphis.
Did you say humble?
The humble state of Arkansas.
Okay, okay, okay.
Cause
Be
look,
easy on me.
cause look, we ain't got much, so that's why I say I keep it humble.
Yeah, I got a lot of land. A lot of land for sure.
We do because nobody want to live there. But anyway,
Okay. So in Memphis, in the millennial mindset, working at Nike is like it was like the plug. Like I was plugged in. Like it was way more opportunities and hustle opportunities. So and I let that go, and I didn't have a outlet of fun anymore. Like I would just be at work, and I'd be miserable at work. Uh, when I would leave work, I'd still be thinking about work. From that 13-minute drive, it took me 13 minutes. When I got home, I would sit in the car and just sit. I just pull up Breakfast Club and listen to a podcast or try not wind down, but I was still like upset. By then, it's 8 o'clock. I would have to take melatonin just to go to bed, drink some hot tea. Cam, it got to the point I was drinking I would take a melatonin tablet when I left work. Like, okay, as soon as I get home, it's gonna kick in. And then it felt like that wasn't working. Like my body got immune to it. So then I started switching to hot tea. I was like, okay, what if I put a shot of Jack in this hot tea? Like maybe it'll help me sleep. It didn't help me sleep, but then I wake up like drowsy and stuff. And I had to give myself another pep. Like it was just a cycle of like being miserable. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't and I ain't. Like, excuse my language, but I ain't. I'm not doing this. And I took a break. I took a break from everything. Millennial Consultant, work. I needed time to get myself together. Like, my doctor was like, hey, your stress levels are high. We need to look into this. Yeah, I know. I know I'm stressed. You can tell me. I see it. I feel it. I live it every day. So, to answer your question,
you take breaks.
when I get out, I take breaks. I ain't doing it. No is a complete sentence, okay? N-O period. Like I tell my client, no is a complete sentence. You don't even have to give a reason. I ain't no. So
No is a complete sentence. Somebody needs to hear that today. That's a fact. So that's how you handle burnout. So that's great. So help the millennials out there that have a tough time with creating their own environment for success. So, for example, a lot of us have been in COVID. A lot of us had to work from home. Extroverts are going crazy because they hadn't been able to be with their friends and stuff like that.
I
Introvert,
miss hugging people.
Introverts, while we don't admit it, we kind of going crazy too because we're at home all day and we just want to chill. We don't really want to be productive. So what can the millennials, speak to the millennials specifically, what can the millennials do to create that positive environment that they are able to thrive the best in?
My sweet dear millennials, you have to find what works for you. There is not a one all be all. So, for my millennials who enjoy me time, but also work from home and live with a household full of people, you may have to seclude yourself in the restroom and create your own spa with just a eucalyptus candle and a nice hot bath and some steam. If you want to slide the humidifier in there just to give that ambiance, you might have to do that. And for my people who love to be around people, but safely during COVID, it's okay to gather if we're all vaccinated according to the CDC. But create that what works for you. If being with your family and your friends works, make time for that. If going outside and cooking on a grill is something that you enjoy, do it. Like you have to make it work. For that person who's working from home and they're now triggered by the sound of that Outlook email. I don't know if anyone else has experienced it, but I was definitely experiencing it. Like when I would hear it, I was like, oh my goodness, who emailing me? Like, I don't know if you've ever been mad at someone for doing their job, but like, dang, do you got to send me this referral? Like, oh my God. But start tacking in or scheduling your 15-minute break. No, there is no job in the state of Tennessee that say you can't have a break. Now you need to schedule things to do on your break.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to schedule even a praise break, make that happen. Like step away, close your eyes, take a social media break. Now don't get on TikTok because TikTok is like the Bermuda Triangle. One
Once you go in, you might not come out for a while.
You might not come out. I went in one time. It was like 10:43 a.m. Next thing I know, it was lunchtime. I said, I know I have not watched that many TikToks. But you have to find what works for you, which comes through trial and error. Like you can't give up on creating that safe space because once you have it, you're gonna enjoy it and you're gonna thrive and you're gonna feel good about it. My safe place was my garden. Because like I said earlier, I'm a shameless millennial. And I don't know if you all know what that means. But for me, I'm single, which I'm unmarried. I don't have any kids. I live at home with my mom, and I'm about to be 30. So I'm not rushing to leave because I want to do it the right way.
Mm.
But my safe place, at the house, and I'm working from home. I got to be able to have somewhere to go. So the garden is my place, and that works for me. So,
So find what works for you, dear millennials. Whether that is whether you're an introvert and you have to create your own personal space, whether you're an extrovert
mhm.
and you have to find some social extreme sports outlet so you can scratch that itch. But find what works for you. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So I got two more things and then I'll let you go. So the first
Okay.
is what's next for you? What's next for Ashley Dortch and Millennial? I know we've alluded to this PhD, but I'm just gonna pray. I'm just gonna pray that the Lord enlightens you and lets you know if that's really what He wants for you. What's next for you, Ashley, and Millennial Consultant?
God, please give me some good discernment with this PhD. Oh my God. Okay. So, what is next is passing this clinical exam. That is where my focus is, so that I can be able to see clients and take insurance
Mm.
and be able to bill because it's easier for some people just to go through their employer and seek therapy services. And I'm on to a new journey to learn how to become a medical social worker. And typically, when you start a new job, it takes you about a year to master that job. And I don't want to overwhelm myself. So, focusing on my exam in May and learning this new role will be my top priorities, and maintaining my current caseload and doing workshops for organizations because I do diversity training as well for organizations and helping organizations to learn how to retain millennials. Retention is huge across the board for any field, but specifically for millennials,
Oh, we'll quit in a
I
second. We will. We'll quit in a second.
you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't give you the cure because it's up to the person,
Absolutely.
but I can teach you how to show appreciation to your millennials in a workplace so that you can have a more cohesive team of people.
Factuals. If you're watching this podcast, make sure if it is not May when you watch this podcast, make sure you send up prayers for Ashley so that she can pass her exam and go on to do great things. Are you looking to open up private practice?
Yes.
Okay. So
So,
definitely
yeah.
send prayers her way. Check in on her, encourage her, send her all the good things so that she can go on to do even greater things than she's already doing. Last thing,
Yeah.
I want you to talk to the little girls who watching this that are come from the same background that you come from, that maybe have that itch for personal development but don't really know how to do it. maybe who have a passion for their generation. Maybe you got somebody in the Gen Z that wants to be a Gen Z consultant. But talk to the people who are just like you, and give them a word of encouragement, who maybe want to follow down the similar path that you went down.
I would say to the young lady looking up to come into personal development, don't give up. First thing. The second thing, find a mentor. You have to have a mentor in any field, anything that you want to do. I don't care if you want to be, if you want to be a janitor, you need to find the best janitor or the president of janitorial services. You need a mentor. Everyone needs a mentor, someone to consult with and who's just to teach you the tricks of the trade, because it's easier to work through things when you have someone who's been through them. And reach out for mentors. And a mentor doesn't always have to be someone that you know. Like, you can literally go on LinkedIn and type in what you aspire to be and message that person and connect with that person and learn from that person. That's 2. 3, don't be afraid of no. Like, rejection is going to come, but that's okay. In the words of my mom, they rejected Jesus. So just keep pushing. Like, you can't give up. They're gonna say no, but you keep going because they're gonna say yes. And if you don't ask, the answer is automatically no. So don't even give them that chance by not asking.
They rejected. Hold on, where is my? I didn't use my air horn. Where is it? Man, my air horn ain't working. I'm gonna have to get it working. But that they rejected Jesus. So what do you think they gonna do to you? Man, don't be afraid of no. I love it. Well, thank you, Ashley, for joining the show.
Thank you.
If you hold on, can people contact you, reach out to you if they interested in service?
Absolutely.
So drop your socials and everything where people can reach you, all that.
You can reach me on Instagram at Millennial Consults. That's MILLENNIAL Consults. You can find me at my website at www.millennialconsults.com. I'm on Facebook at Millennial Consulting. And if you just want to text me, you can text me at 901-300-6101. I will definitely text back.
Go hit up Ashley if you are a millennial looking to help bad habits, help to hit goals, and coming soon, the family talks. And what are you labeling those? Are you labeling those family consultants? What are you labeling those?
Look, they're family meetings.
Family meetings. Labeling the family meetings. So thank y'all for checking out the show. That's our show for this Thursday. If you're listening to this on iTunes, go ahead and hit that 5-star review. You know we only do 5 stars only. No 1, no 2, no 5 stars only. And subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button. Like all the kids do. Smash that like button. Subscribe. So you don't miss a single episode. If you're watching this on Facebook, do the same thing and share this with somebody who really needs this, because this was a really good one. All right. Well, until then, we're doing this every single Thursday to help you create your version of the good life. Until then, we'll see you next week.